Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're embarking on a breathtaking cinematic journey. And trust me, you might actually want to take a deep breath right now, because we're heading straight up into the thin air of the Tibetan Plateau. We're going to travel from the bustling, high-altitude city of Xi'an, wind our way up through these legendary mountain passes, and finally arrive at the awe-inspiring mirror-like shores of Qinghai Lake. It's a journey where ancient history and sheer natural majesty totally collide.
So where exactly does the Silk Road meet the roof of the world? It's a fascinating question, right? Well, we are traveling to that exact geographic threshold. It's this incredible place where the ancient trade routes, the ones that brought goods and faiths all across Asia, literally collide with the towering, magnificent Tibetan Plateau.
Here's our itinerary for today. We'll be looking at Xi'an's dense cultural crossroads, the fusion of faiths, the sun and moon legend, and finally, China's largest saltwater lake. Let's jump right in.
Section 1, Xi'an's dense cultural crossroads, where civilizations intersect. We're starting our journey right in downtown Xi'an. It's a vibrant hub sitting at over 2,200 meters in elevation, and it's served as a gateway between the east and west for centuries.
And what's truly fascinating here is how the city functions as a living, breathing tapestry. Walking the streets of Jiangnan, you aren't just in one culture. You're literally standing at an intersection. You'll hear Mandarin spoken right alongside Tibetan. You've got Hui Muslims wearing traditional white caps and scarves walking right past Tibetan Buddhist monks in their distinct robes. And the food. The air is just filled with the scent of hand-pulled halal noodles and yak meat dumplings. Diverse languages, religious garments, and traditions haven't just collided here. They've seamlessly coexisted and blended for centuries.
Moving on to Section 2, Fusion of Faiths, a convergence of architecture and belief. Now we're going to examine how this unique cultural blending is actually physically built into the region's most sacred monuments.
On one side, you have the majestic Tair or Kumbum Monastery. This is the birthplace of the founder of the Yellow Hat sect of Tibetan Buddhism. It's this sprawling complex of 9,300 rooms, sparkling with golden roofs and incredibly intricate butter sculptures. Then, on the other side, right in the heart of Xi'an, is the Dongguan Grand Mosque. It boasts a 600-year history and can host up to 60,000 worshippers on major Islamic holidays. But here is the absolute best part. These aren't just neighboring faiths ignoring each other. Tibetan Buddhist monasteries actually gifted the Dongguan Mosque its towering minarets and golden victory banners. They did this as a profound symbol of harmony and coexistence. How incredible is that?
Now, the crucial thing to understand is that the architecture here is incredibly fluid. It really reflects the shifting tides of history. Back in the 1380s, the mosque was built in a traditional Chinese imperial style. That means swallowtail roofs and no domes, blending perfectly with Han architecture. Fast forward to the 1990s, and with investments flowing in from Gulf states, the mosque was rebuilt with these grand Arabic-style green domes. Then, most recently in the 2020s, the mosque underwent yet another transformation. State authorities mandated the removal of those domes to align with traditional Chinese architectural aesthetics. But through all these eras, the local Hui Muslims have continued their centuries-old tradition of adapting to the changing cultural and political landscapes around them.
Section 3, the sun and moon legend, crossing the geographic threshold. Leaving the dense historical city behind, we are now ascending the plateau to a monumental natural boundary.
3,520. I want you to really emphasize that number in your mind. That is the awe-inspiring elevation in meters of the Sun and Moon Mountain Pass. At over 11,500 feet, the air gets incredibly thin. Honestly, you'd probably lose your breath just stepping out of the car. This mountain acts as the ultimate physical gateway to the sprawling Qinghai Tibetan Plateau, and it holds one of the most romantic and sorrowful legends in Chinese history.
The history of this pass is defined by an epic 7th century legend. It starts with the Qing dynasty emperor sending his daughter, Princess Wencheng, way out west to marry the Tibetan king in a grand peace alliance. But as she reaches this harsh, grassless mountain boundary, she's completely overcome with homesickness. So she pulls out a magical sun and moon mirror gifted by her father, which was supposed to show her homeland. But instead of her family, she only sees her own tired reflection and the setting sun. Realizing her father had tricked her to ensure she completed her diplomatic mission, she makes a monumental choice. In a moment of absolute resolve to commit to her new life, she smashes the precious mirror. Legend says the shattered halves landed on the two peaks, one facing the setting sun, the other the rising moon, forever shaping the jagged geography of the pass. But the legend actually doesn't end there. Local lore says that the princess's tears of homesickness pooled together to form the Daotong River. And what makes the Daotong River so incredibly famous is that it's a back-flowing river. Unlike almost all other rivers in China that flow eastward toward the sea, the Daotong miraculously flows backward, from east to west. So her tears literally carve a geographical path that leads us straight to our final destination.
Section 4. China's largest saltwater lake, the final mirror. Following that westward-flowing river, we finally arrive at the breathtaking natural majesty of Qinghai Lake, historically known in Tibetan as the Blue Sea.
4,317. That is the staggering size of Qinghai Lake in square kilometers. To put that into perspective for you, you could fit major global cities inside it multiple times over. It is this immense, cinematic expanse of turquoise water that just perfectly mirrors the sky, sitting quietly right on the roof of the world. And when you look at this ecosystem, you realize this isn't just a beautiful backdrop of snow-capped mountains reflecting on the water. It's a vital, thriving engine of biodiversity. Sitting at a breathtaking 3,200 meters in altitude, this highly alkaline lake is actually expanding by 30 to 40 square kilometers every single year, which is absolutely critical for curbing the creeping desertification of the plateau. Plus, it's home to the unique Qinghai Lake naked carp, a species that evolved specifically to survive in these salty, high-altitude waters. And every summer, it transforms into a bustling haven for over 250 species of migratory birds, from brown-headed gulls to black-necked cranes. It is literally an oasis of life in an otherwise arid and extreme environment. I want to take a quick moment to reflect on a really beautiful quote from the source material. At the edge of the plateau, every road becomes a memory. I think this captures the true essence of our explainer today. As we stand at the edge of this massive mirror of the sky, we aren't just looking at water and mountains. We're looking at reflections of a deep, complex history. We're seeing wandering monks, migrating nomads, princesses making impossible sacrifices, and entire civilizations learning to build alongside one another.
So, I'll leave you with this final thought. As you look across the vast, reflective waters of Qinghai Lake, which piece of this ancient cultural crossroads will you reflect on the most? Is it the incredible resilience and fusion of faiths in sinning, the tragic resolve of Princess Wencheng, or maybe the sheer quiet majesty of the highest saltwater lake in the world? There is just so much more to uncover here, and I hope this explainer has sparked your curiosity to dive even deeper into the mysteries of the Tibetan Plateau. Thanks for joining me.